6 out of the last 7 days, Bitcoin in the red. In the last week, ultimately down around 16%. Bitcoin right now testing a key trend line of a pattern we've been tracking on this channel. We're in the apex. What in the world is Bitcoin about to do? What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way in. It means a lot to me. Let's jump into the Bitcoin video. So this is Bitcoin on the daily chart, and it's down, right? It has been consolidating for around a week now from this red candle here on January 15th. Bitcoin down ultimately 16-17%, and you can just see 6 out of the last 7 candles here in the red. Currently, Bitcoin testing this lower trend line. This is on the daily chart. We're going to dig into it. Let's take a quick clip from yesterday. Really interesting thing transpired right after I uploaded this. And we're very close. I mean, if you look at this new Fibonacci support area, Bitcoin is just above it. And that's what we're looking for going into tonight. Don't know what's going to happen. This is a 6-hour chart. But support-wise, right around $35,300 down to $34,000. Let's call it 650. So that was the clip from last night. I think I uploaded it and Bitcoin started dropping. Let's go to the hourly chart. Let's look at this. So here's a couple of things going on. And first, let's actually chart that Fibonacci retracement. And we're going to also see how that translates on the daily chart. It's very important. But the swing low that we were talking about in that video to swing high was right there. There's the Fibonacci. Let me zoom in here. Let's kind of see what's going on here. But you can see Bitcoin dipped right into it, below it, tested the key trend line of our symmetrical triangle right here and back above. And currently we're still in that area of support, everybody. Bitcoin is at pretty much the most critical area that it could possibly be in. This area of the Fibonacci support confluent with this trend line just below that Bitcoin just recently touched here on this chart. And this chart, by the way, is a 6-hour. I might have just said it's an hourly. This is a 6-hour chart. This is what it looks like. The other thing we were tracking on this chart, and now we can go to the hourly, is this rising wedge, right? And we basically talked about Bitcoin breaking through the lower trend line, making its way to the target, which Bitcoin hit pretty much in the midst of dropping down into this area. And it really wasn't that big of a deal, right? If we see Bitcoin seeing support all up in here, we obviously want to look for that in terms of this Fibonacci retracement. We want to get back above this. This is support. But really, the key area to have watched for is this trend line. And you can just see Bitcoin wicked right into that trend line, into the lower 33,000s. It wasn't there very long, which is good. But right now, Bitcoin, if you go back to the 6-hour chart, you can just see, this downward momentum of Bitcoin as it kind of trickles into the apex and consolidates into the apex of the symmetrical triangle. We know we're at 74% to the apex. This is going to happen soon, right? But here we are still within the triangle, and we have to be patient. I wish I could just move Bitcoin along a little quicker. But what I want to talk about right now is what can we anticipate? Because right now, we got the bounce, and it seems like I saw some sentiment out there that makes some people very happy, very bullish, ready for round 2. Bitcoin's about to take off. I'm not there yet. You know me, I'm a little more conservative in terms of that. I hold in the hype a little bit because when I look at this daily chart, I just see a lot of downward momentum. And on top of that, I want to plot a couple things. So here, this is the short-term Fibonacci support that we talked about, which was this. It was this candle here to that swing high. And I just want to illustrate this, where Bitcoin is right now in the daily. This is the same support we've been talking about. Bitcoin is in it right now, and there's barely any margin of error for Bitcoin right now going into tonight. Probably as I upload this video, Bitcoin's finally going to make a move, and I should have waited an hour, but this is what I'm watching in the short term, what Bitcoin does here on this daily chart at this Fibonacci support, lower trend line, because I really don't get too hyped, too excited until Bitcoin tests a resistance area and breaks that. And that resistance area right now is the swing high to that last touch lower high. And let me get rid of this other Fibonacci so we can see this more clear. So Bitcoin coming up and breaking this area. And really what it needs to do is test the upper trend line once again. So we need to get movement away from the lower trend line, obviously, and we need to test this upper trend line. Everybody, Bitcoin's bouncing around, right? The reason why we're tracking these trend lines is we're waiting for it to either break above a trend line or below a trend line, and it's just teasing us. Look at this wick on the daily chart at that lower trend line. This is the biggest area on the charts I'm watching. That's why I'm talking about it so much. However, we're looking for a move right up here to around $37,600 to $38,800. That's a Fibonacci resistance to the upside. We want to see Bitcoin at the very least test that, and we'd rather see Bitcoin consolidate out of the triangle up in that area than consolidate now over the next couple of days in this area down here through the lower trend line. We don't want to see that. Remember, just below Bitcoin right now is that 50-day moving average, that blue line that you see at the bottom of the screen. Very just huge area that we talk about so often on this channel. Bitcoin consolidating into that area. If I zoom out here, you know I do this all the time. Just zoom out on this daily chart and you can just scroll all the way back to the last bull market, and Bitcoin just tested that area over and over again. And that's, and these moves look very similar to what Bitcoin's been doing, these parabolic moves, right? But we're waiting for just this big consolidation that Bitcoin used to get. It hasn't happened yet on the Bitcoin charts, but we're waiting. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to happen, but zooming back in here on the daily chart, at the very least, we are looking for the 20-day moving average to see if Bitcoin can break back above that. The green line right there around $36,200. So Bitcoin really needs to make a move to the upside to test this Fibonacci retracement, simultaneously breaking this 20-day moving average. That's a short-term move we want to see. Can start getting a little bit more bullish at that point. But right now, I'm anticipating some downward move through this trend line. That's just how I am, everybody. I tend to anticipate the worst scenarios because that's where I may take more action, which is accumulating and buying Bitcoin. Remember, 28,000 now, the 50-day moving average, very much in play for Bitcoin, not to mention these targets out of the symmetrical triangle to the downside, right around $24,000, $25,000. So I don't know what else to do, everybody. Just a quick update video. We're just all standing by waiting for Bitcoin. Imagine every time I do a video for the last few days or whatever, Bitcoin's just like in this area, like $35,000, $36,000. It's tough to create content when Bitcoin's like not giving me much to work with other than just consolidating. But we're getting there, everybody. Bitcoin's going to make an explosive move soon. We all know it. We're all waiting. We're watching. Time will tell. Wanted to do a quick update for you. Let me know your thoughts below. What do you think Bitcoin is going to do next? What are you doing out there in terms of preparing for the next Bitcoin move? Hit that subscribe, hit that like. I appreciate you cruising by. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.